to the Commune podcast. My name is Jeff Krasno. Today I'm joined by the author of the new book, Lose Your Mind, Josh Pais. Josh is an accomplished actor, acting coach, and creator of the Committed Impulse Training Method, a program that blends acting techniques with mindfulness and body awareness to help people live and perform with greater presence, spontaneity, and authenticity. He has appeared in dozens of films, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Music of the Heart, and Motherless Brooklyn, as well as on Broadway in the hit I'm Not Rappaport. He's also the director of the 2002 documentary 7th Street, the street that he grew up on in Alphabet City, Manhattan, that depicts various local neighborhood characters. In this conversation, Josh shares how his method helps us lose our minds in the best possible way by quieting the chatter of self-doubt and judgment so we can connect more fully with the present moment. We talk about the 4 access points that he teaches to bring people back into their bodies, how anxiety can be transformed into creative fuel, and why authenticity isn't about being polished, but about staying connected to whatever is true in the moment. Now, as you'll hear, this isn't just about acting, it's about life. Whether you're on a stage or in a boardroom or sitting across from someone you love, Josh shows us how to step into the unknown, embrace vulnerability, and tap into the aliveness that makes creativity and connection possible. Okay, now my conversation with Josh Pais. All right, Josh, here we are.
Here we are.
Thanks for coming to enjoy Canyon life with me.
I love Canyon life.
Yeah.
I could do this one day, I think.
You would fit in very easily to Canyon life.
Really? In what way?
Oh, no, you have sort of a brawny masculinity to you.
This podcast is going so well right now.
We could cut it off here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That was great.
Okay. Lose your mind. That sounds like something out of the DSM, something that you might not want to have diagnosed.
Right.
And I'm excited for you to help me lose my mind. You can use me a little bit as a guinea pig.
Yeah.
In this episode, I can be a little bit of your case study.
Yeah.
And get a free consult.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But before we back into that.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like going crazy, right? Lose your mind, that's the association.
Of course. It sounds like a mental pathology.
If you think of it like we have all this nonsense going on, and it's like literally like putting that aside, and you get to experience a level of aliveness, of really connecting to what's around you, to really being in your body, that when this is dominating us, which it wants to, this little chatterbox is going to do everything it can so that we latch onto it, go into a mental drama. That's why we want to lose that. It's like it makes life unbearable. And in terms of creating something in the moment, you can't be spontaneous if you're listening to how you suck, you're doing it wrong, is this right, is that, what do they think?
We get glimpses of this cognitive absence from time to time. Like sometimes when we're engaged in sports or athletics.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's referred to as flow state or the zone. You know, you have total proprioception and amazing awareness of your body and space and time, and you can almost intuit where the ball is going to go before someone hits it or kicks it, right? And this is really like an enhanced state of being.
Or the most natural state of being.
I would say animals may be more predisposed to having this form of cognitive absence, if you will. Because
except animals that have lived with humans a lot, like dogs.
Right.
Like sometimes they can get really like neurotic, but that's just because they're exposed to us. And I found 4 tools that 100% of the time work to bring you back. The 4 access points, I'll start with everyone's favorite, which is I'm back. So there's a period of time when your mind catches you, seduces you into like a mental drama, and you don't even know that you've left the building. And then there's a moment, hopefully, that you recognize that you did, and then you say out loud, I'm back. And then as soon as you say I'm back, you can, there's no order to this, but you you want to take a breath to feel, not take a breath to discharge take a breath like the breath is like gasoline on the flames of sensation. So you want to breathe to come back in here. You want to see what's in front of you and practice seeing in terms of color, shape, texture, lightness, and darkness, like how a baby or a dog would see. Like literally seeing what's there, as opposed to just letting the mind categorize everything so you experience nothing.
Right.
And then tuning into the body. And let me tell you this, what happened, an incident with my father when I was a little kid. It sounds like a trauma, but it's a fantastic story. Just this is in terms of ways of connecting with the body. So I went to acting school. I got out of acting school. I started auditioning. I had so much nervousness, fear, anxiety, thoughts in my head, and I really thought I had to give the whole thing up. And I reflected on something that happened with my dad when I was 6. He had this office with a floor-to-ceiling blackboard, and he was always doing these squiggles, and he called them calculations. And I was 6, and I was like, I knew what other dads did. I knew, like, I grew up in Alphabet City, a very tough neighborhood, and the dads were, drug dealers or sitting on the stoop all day, or carpenters or taxi drivers, what have you. And I said to my dad, like, what is your job? Tell me what your job is. He said, do you see this table next to you? And I said, yes. And I was like, tell me your job. And he said, do you see your knee? I said, yes. And he said, the smallest part of this table and the smallest part of your knee are the same things, atoms. And that's what I explore, the building blocks of the universe. Side note, my dad was a theoretical physicist who worked with Einstein for 11 years and worked with Niels Bohr, Oppenheimer, and the whole crew. And
Amazing.
So that was his jam.
That was his milieu.
And so when I reflected back on that and thinking about me auditioning with all this anxiety, if this is happening in my body, it's somehow related to atoms, because this whole thing is atoms. And I started experimenting, feeling the actual sensation of anxiety, as opposed to going, anxiety bad, suppress it, go in my head. But like, what is this? And it was, for me, what I identified anxiety was often like a chaotic vibrational thing in my upper torso. And when I started to just feel the actual sensations, it took it out of judgment, out of good and bad, and it started to allow me to use that as creative fuel. And that's when my acting career really started, when I started working on Broadway and movies and TV, by using whatever is there. And we're so habituated, so culturally trained to believe that there's good sensations and bad sensations. And as long as we, I call it the greatest myth in the book, but as long as we hold that myth to be true, whenever we feel something that we believe is bad, like nervousness, fear, sadness, whatever it may be, we're going to suppress our body, and maybe we can reduce that sensation. We're really just trapping it somewhere in our body. And then our attention has to go somewhere, and then we're back in our mind telling us that we suck. So from my point of view, if you want to create, especially if you need to create in the moment in a particular time, you need to use all of this juice. It's all good. It's all there to play with.
It's interesting to identify that feeling as energy without overlaying any kind of valence to it. This is just by dint of personal experience, but before I'll do some public speaking, I'll notice that, nervousness, butterflies in my stomach, etc., and I will immediately label it as anxiety,
Yes.
something negative.
Right.
But actually, when I step back for a moment, if it's possible, the nature of that sensation itself could also be excitement or
Yes.
positive. The sensation's actually almost exactly the same. It's the salience and the valence that we tend to overlay on top of that with our brain that creates the issues.
I would even see if you can take out, this is good.
Yeah.
It's just like, this is living in a human body. This thing vibrates, and we need to learn how to live in it and the more that we can live in it with all this, it's like that's what creative invincibility is.
It's interesting. Obviously, you're coming at this originally from like an actor's lens,
Yeah.
but you have enlarged the applicability of this teaching to really anyone.
Uh,
You're going into a board meeting. You're
yeah. It's really
playing music
anybody
on
that
stage.
has to put
Yeah.
their ass on the line. Anybody extends further out into the world, the vibrations increase.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think about it in terms of music, for example, where my brother's a professional musician. And of course, he's spent 25 years in the basement smoking weed. Sorry, Eric. Like practicing the scales. Like,
Right.
Mixolydian scale. Okay, here's my Lydian scale. Here's my major. Oh, I can superimpose that over this chord, whatever. But when he steps on the stage, it's his job to forget all of that.
Yeah.
And that's tricky.
Well, it's brave.
Yeah.
It's an act of bravery.
And just knowing that you can sit on top of the technical well because you put the work in,
Yep.
but then draw from the spiritual well, if you will.
Yeah, or draw off the audience. It's like the more that you practice that and train doing that, it becomes so much more effortless and so much more fun and so much more spontaneous and so much more engaging to watch.
Now, was there a moment in your own career? I mean, you talked about your relationship with your dad,
Right.
but that there was kind of an aha moment? Was there like an inflection point of like, oh no, I don't have to be that Jewishy, nervousy, neurotic Josh guy.
What are you talking about, Jeff? Jeff.
Oh, I can't go anywhere near a bottle of water. Yeah. Or was this like a slow evolution in terms of like, oh, okay, no, I'm starting to understand this, and obviously you started to build a whole curriculum around it, and you've taught hundreds or thousands of people. Yeah.
If I don't have a lot of mantras, but if I'm about to go, if the cameras are all set up, everybody, has their lines, we've done our blocking. What I say to myself when I do say to myself something, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And sometimes I say to my nervous system, and we're okay. We're gonna step into the unknown. And literally, I think you have to sometimes talk to your nervous system, because your nervous system sometimes doesn't know the difference between stepping in the unknown to do an acting scene or to speak in front of thousands of people. Doesn't know the difference between that and being killed or a major threat. It just doesn't know.
Yeah.
It's like the same things start,
Yes.
And so it's like literally sometimes it's like we're okay and I don't know what's going to happen. And the more I could, of course, like your brother, trained, rehearsed, knew my lines, knew the world of the movie or whatever it was, but then it's have to step into the unknown and see what happens in that dance. See what happens when you're, giving a talk in front of people. See what happens if you're coaching with someone. And it's just that willingness to step into that magic,
Yeah.
that juice.
This is really interesting. Last Friday, I had been invited to go speak at my friend Susie. She's has this studio called Unplug. It's a wonderful meditation studio. And she started a book club. Maybe you should be part of this book club. And they had chosen my book to be this month's book. I was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
She invited me over to address and answer questions from the group. But I was so busy, I didn't even really think about this thing. It was just like sitting at this little blob in my calendar. I didn't really even remember when I was supposed to show up or what I was supposed to do. And then all of a sudden it was Friday and I saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go over there. Oh, there's probably just be like 2 people there. I had put no stock in it whatsoever.
Right.
I was not pinning any ego to it. And then I walked in and it was packed. Tons of people.
Right.
But I hadn't worked myself up into any form of frenzy.
Yeah.
And I was just sat down and it was the most natural, easy thing. And it was a really interesting learning experience for me. And I was like, maybe I just need to give less shits.
Well, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be kind to you.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about inspirational ideas, but The nonsense, it's going to be mean.
What about imposter syndrome? I think this is something that holds a lot of people back from letting their music sing.
What's interesting about imposter syndrome is that one is that it's called a syndrome, which makes it sound like it's like I have leukemia, you know, which makes it seem, you know, like it's pretty serious if you have a syndrome. All that is happening is that your mind is trying to lure you into a drama. That's all that's happening. It's just dropping nonsense. And what's interesting is most people have like 7 recurring statements. It's like, I'm not good enough, they don't like me, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, you know, they fucked me over, everyone else gets ahead, you know. It's great to identify what your key 7 things are. And then if you hear one, that's your reminder that your mind has dominated you. You've probably lost any visual connection to your immediate environment. You're probably barely breathing, and you're probably suppressing some body sensation. So it's like the positive, and when you hear one of your 7s, is that if you look at it like a blinking red light, which means come back, take a breath, get back in your body, say I'm back, and connect to what's really in front of you. It will train you to be more and more present the more that you practice that. And then when you do check, when your mind does drop something, you'll be able to come back faster.
The more I can live within an environment of fallibility, like accept and actually embrace mistake making, it really makes it so much easier for me.
Yeah.
You know, I think about this sometimes in terms of evolution. Like evolution, we evolve through mistakes. We call them mutations when they happen in biology.
Right.
And oftentimes those mutations are adaptive, and then we select for them. But they wouldn't happen unless they were mistakes.
Yeah.
And so this sort of trust in self that the next words that come out of my mouth, I don't know what they are. And perhaps I will make a mistake, and in that mistake stumble on something more brilliant than anything I could have thought of.
So true. Like our creativity is in here. You know, it's not in here. And the more that you're in here, the more access you have to your creativity. And I remember my dad telling me that so many famous physicists would discover like this amazing theorem, like the moment they stepped on a bus,
right,
or feeding birds, or, you know, and
that's so amazing. I mean, we know this sometimes when be like, hey, Josh, remember when we had dinner up in Topanga and there was that guy that's sitting on the end? I can't remember his name. You know, he had a long beard, he had, you know, blue eyes, and we can't shine the spotlight of our conscious attention onto his name, but we know what it isn't. Oh, it wasn't Frank, or it wasn't Bob, or whatever.
Right.
And then we'll go for a walk, and then boom, it just pops in.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't put it there.
Yep.
So it was sitting somewhere out here in the warehouse of consciousness, but we just couldn't put our spotlight on it.
Yeah.
But if we open ourselves up and you know, like you mentioned, a lot of the theoretical physicists, I know there's this great story about Einstein, and I believe Edison used to do this too, where he would hold the silver balls in his hand, and they would kind of go into this non-sleep, deep rest sort of theta state, where they would be not asleep, but only just kind of barely conscious. They would have, that's where, you know, their great innovations and moments of satori would come, and then, you know, they would drift off to sleep and one of the balls would fall out of their hand and, you know, make a sound against the floor, and then they would, you know, wake back up. So it is that accessing that place of conscious awareness where we're not always superimposing.
Yeah, it's limiting. We don't access our brilliance just going through the mind.
I have a question for you. So when you're on stage,
yes, Jeff.
Yes, let me frame it properly.
Oh, yes.
So when you're 2 more martinis, please. So when you're on stage, and you're delivering a performance,
right?
Is your mind also tracking the audience reaction to things. And maybe these aren't two separate things. Maybe they're just one thing. But I find personally, like, I have my stories that I want to tell, and I have my beats that I want to hit, and I'm trying to land an airplane, at O'Hare. But I'm also, there's this other layer of cognition happening where I'm tracking how people are responding, where they'll be like, oh, well, that worked. Oh, that's not funny. Oh, yeah, that would have been funny had I hit the beat right. There's
Yeah.
this kind of two parallel multilinear things happening cognitively. Is that common, or did you feel?
Yeah, that's I mean, it's certainly common, but I think, the best work happens when you are, back to the 4 axis
Yeah.
points. Because when you're up here, their chances are they're going to drift away because they have their attention on you. And if you can't secretly be like judging.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And so I would play with, as soon as you hear that voice, and that's not bad because it's going to happen, is like, just come back and engage. Even if you just need to, in the middle of something, take a breath just to come back in, they're going to be like, oh, what's happening now?
Right.
You know what I mean? They're hoping that you're going to offer as much of you as possible, because then they're going to sit back and groove on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't help in any way, like the commentary. But the key thing with when our mind starts taking us is catch it, come back, reconnect, and then it opens up the creative channel.
Is that the advice when you make a mistake? I mean, assuming, and by mistake, I mean like you completely flub a line.
Yeah.
Or you blank out for a moment.
Right.
What is there a good strategy in those moments of like, okay, I just totally,
The bad strategy would be to berate yourself or analyze or whatever. One thing is, like, if an actor, screws up on stage and they're open about it, like they often get applause.
Totally.
Because it's so real.
Yeah.
It's so honest. What's not fun for an audience is if you knock the book over, and then you're like, for the next, you're saying your lines and like, oh God, why did I knock the book up? Why am I, this is not going well. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to just being like, oh, wow, whatever,
Have you ever, I mean, I'm sure throughout your life, you've had some fuck ups on stage. Any notable ones?
I did this play, I'm Not Rappaport, which won the Tony Award, and I did 750 performances. It was like,
and you nailed it every time.
Well, it's the first time that I made money, so I'm like, I'm not leaving this show. Every show was somewhat different with those actors. Like, we came out and didn't quite know what the dance was going to be, and that's what made it. That's what the audience loved about it. So as long as I didn't lose a line, which I don't think I did, but I have in other things. Years ago, I went to London. I was training at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art. We had a play that we were going to put on, and every moment we had rehearsed and set. Every line, how we said it, was set and locked. And there was a scene where I was, drinking wine, and I dropped the glass and it shattered on the floor. It was so intense, and I had my professors, and, we had rehearsed this thing for months where literally every intonation was locked. And then all of a sudden, I was able to somehow do something, pick up the glass, and we continued. And what happened after that is, for the first time, all of us young actors that were gripping onto how we were going to do the show, we actually started talking to each other. And it was like, that's the biggest lesson, one of my biggest lessons in acting. It was because we were just, I'm going to go to this, go to this, go to this, and then bow, get through it.
Right.
And after that happened, it was something radical was happening on stage. Like it was new, everything was new, and it wasn't all preset. And it could feel like the audience leaning in because it was real, something real was happening.
Yeah, my girls are all dancers. I spend a lot of time with the other woeful, beleaguered dads in the back row of the auditorium, waiting endlessly for them to come out and dance. You get pretty bored with the perfect performances.
Right.
But it's that one girl that comes out and has a rough moment, but then actually gets up and overcomes.
Yeah.
That's what you remember.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, they stayed on stage.
Yeah. And
they did it.
It was so real.
Yeah.
I want to give you one great thing before going out, like I'll do this
please.
sometime,
Yeah.
which is just, I call it, I see, I wonder, I feel. And it's just, I see that lamp right there. I wonder, and it can be about the lamp or anything. I wonder who did that painting. I feel calm in my upper torso and a little spinning energy in my belly. And then I see, I wonder, I feel. It just connects you to you, connects you to the space. It honors that there are thoughts. So that's one thing. We can do a little stream of consciousness into a couple lines. You want to play with that?
Sure.
What do you feel right now? Let's just do a little bit of that. Just go, I feel, and just notice, where there's vibration, like just physically, what are the things that you notice right now?
Yeah. Right now, my Achilles heel is always not in my heel. It's in my stomach.
Okay.
And so that's always where I feel a little jittery.
Okay. Just since it's your Achilles heel, just take a couple breaths and just really feel it, like welcome it, invite it to the party. And is there any emotional content in there? And just breathe to like see the nuance of it.
It's a double-edged sword in there.
Okay.
It is, it's walking the razor's edge between anxiety and excitement.
Okay. Just a note, like you just connecting to it, just your voice was just beautiful, like effortlessly. Just assume it. Sometimes that's going to be there, and maybe I would play with taking out that it's razor's edge.
Yeah, right.
It's just like what is the actual, not the interpretation, and it could be like, anxiety and then excitement and then, and just to let that be there. Do you have like a line you want to play with, like that you have memorized?
You want funny or serious?
Whatever.
What do you think?
Do a series, just like we'll play with 3 sentences. So here's what we'll do. And what you did with that stream of consciousness was great. So just do a couple. I feel like right now I feel like a little tightness here on the left side of my belly. I feel excitement kind of running up here. I feel a little sadness kind of in my jaw. I feel, and just do I feel, and you'll also see how fast you're going to go from this to that to this to that, and you want that to be your guide track. So just start by doing. Let's do this. Start by doing some stream of consciousness. I feel, and then I'll just say text at some point, and then just say those next lines, but maintaining that body connection. So that might mean letting go of how you might have preset to say those lines if you have. Don't worry about making sense of the lines for this experiment, but just I feel, and then you can say I feel and then the line. So just I feel.
Yeah, I feel like a little tightness in my neck.
Okay. Any emotion in there?
A tension.
Okay.
Not sure tension is an emotion, but that's what I feel.
Okay, some tension, great.
I feel actually very relaxed.
Okay.
Kind of in my upper torso. I'm just kind of sort of loosey-goosey.
Okay.
Sometimes loosey-goosey is, well, I'm not going to go there.
Say I'm back.
Yeah.
Say I'm back.
I'm back. I'm back.
And what do you, and this stuff is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So just track with, do 2 more.
Yeah.
Like, so what do you feel in this moment? What's the loudest sensation?
The loudest sensation is still in kind of the top of my stomach.
Okay, great.
just a little jittery and
Great. Fantastic. And one more.
And one more. Actually feel quite a bit of energy in my legs.
Okay.
Like
Right.
I could just
Okay.
go for a run.
Okay, great. And
Yeah.
now just do one more. Just say I feel whatever is in that moment, and then after that, just go I feel, and instead of saying what you feel in your body, just say that first line.
Mm-hmm. I feel quiet in my arms after we got past New Haven, outside of the city sprawl,
And what do you feel now?
relaxed,
Okay, and just speak from there. You can just say it to me.
serene.
Say Josh.
Josh, the character of the highway totally changed. The street lamps disappeared and the roadway went pitch black.
And what do you feel now?
Pretty settled.
Okay, and just speak right from there, and see if you can not go up here to check.
Right.
Like just like I feel this, and with this we're just experimenting, but with this experiment it's like I feel this, and then here's the line. You don't need to I feel this and let me check. Let me check on something, because you have your lines down, what, and so now it's going to be about experimenting into the whatever that unknown is.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. Okay. Yeah, I feel excited. I feel excited.
What do you feel right now? And say the line right now.
That the road would get more serpentine.
What do you feel right now?
I'm here. I'm ready here.
Okay, say it from right there.
Sometimes I would pass these 18-wheelers on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And moths and beetles and insects of every variety would come out of the obsidian blackness and smatter and splatter against the windshield.
Yeah.
And there would be roadkill and detritus of unfortunate dogs and raccoons and deers littering the shoulder of the road. And I was reminiscing on these trips with my daughter. I was reminiscing about these trips with my daughter. And she said, Dad, from my vantage point.
And when you get to that moment, don't feel like you have to change into reverie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like when people are telling a story, like only actors will be like, it's like, no, it's just like I did this, and then she said that.
Yeah.
And,
That's so funny. Sorry, I'm like,
No, this is great. But even while this is happening, like say the lines.
Yeah.
But look at me.
Yeah.
Just go like this.
And
just say I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Just say I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I really, really don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
And the line.
And
so tell me.
And she said, from my vantage point, Dad, I would look out the front windshield and the world looked so treacherous, so scary, so utterly threatening. And then I would pivot my head. I would look at you behind.
And one more time from that spot. But don't even think you have to be like utterly. Like you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to help it. Don't help it at all. Okay. We only want you, and if you help it, we get less of you. So just go like this,
go,
and let's say I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And then I would pivot my head and I would look towards you behind the steering wheel, and I never once felt unsafe. Dad, I never once felt unsafe.
That almost made me cry. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, man.
Never really, never told it like that.
Yeah. Not that you need to now aim for it to be there, but like you let yourself, you got out of your mind, and you were just speaking from your body, and it was like, I mean, we both almost cried. And it's so fun, right? We just need to know that people want us. They want it. They're, because of our addiction to these little rectangles, our phones, it's like people are hungry for something real. They don't want to see a preset show. They want to see you, Jeff. They've come to see you. And everything you're feeling is awesome. And this is something that takes people in my classes a while to believe, that whatever you're feeling is going to make it work perfectly.
I think that often what really moves people is being able to see their own story in another person's story.
Yeah.
And that's how we feel less alone.
Yeah.
What you are helping people do is not only, tell their own stories more honestly and have the bravery to do that, but then opening the door for other people to better understand themselves through seeing their own story and the story of someone else.
Yes. 100%.
There's a deeper connection possible when it's just truly honest. And there's no artifice to it.
Yeah. Good work, brother.
Yeah.
You're going to kill it in your show, man.
Thanks for doing this. So, okay, this book comes out. How are you feeling?
My mind is saying you're not doing enough, like I should,
Right.
But I feel really giddy, and like it's hard to, I've been teaching for decades, but it's like always been something I've done on the side. Do you know what I mean? And my main career has been, acting. I've been teaching tens of thousands of people what's been happening in their lives and their careers has been amazing. And so it's like all of a sudden I'm bringing this thing that I've been doing in this little, in these rooms with people, and now like bringing it out into the world. And I feel like this really is my purpose. I feel like this is my gift to humanity. I feel like what I have to give is here. And so it feels like I'm really aligned with myself to do this, and it feels very shimmery, shaky, and like bubbly and exciting, and it feels like scary, like I'm going on TV shows and and so it's like, but so awesome. Like it's so awesome. I can't believe like everything that I've been teaching is in a physical thing that's right there. It's trippy.
Yeah, there is something about having a fossil record of your work that, yes, it's symbolic, but it is symbolic of something true and honest, and hours and hours and hours of devotion. And that's really special. Well, I think you're going to help a lot of people conquer their fears here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even conquer their fears, it's welcome their fears.
Yeah.
That's all, and all these sensations are built into our DNA. So it's not, there's nothing wrong. This is how we're designed. So might as well party with it.
Well, count me in on the party.
Okay.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Jeff.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too.
Okay, I'm going to go lose my mind.
Okay, go lose it. Me too.
Thanks so much for listening to my conversation with Josh. You can get a copy of his book, Lose Your Mind, wherever books are sold. Now, for more of my weekly musings, like today's episode on health and culture, ad-free episodes of this show, and live stream conversations, head over to my Substack at jeffkrasno.substack.com. I want to let you know also about our Commune course platform that contains over 3,000 lessons and practices from the world's preeminent integrative medicine doctors, health experts, and fitness, yoga, and mindfulness teachers. It is a repository of recipes for holistic well-being, and you can check it out for free at onecommune.com/trycommune. As a reminder, the audio version of my new book, Good Stress, is also available on Audible, and you can listen to it for free as part of your premium Spotify membership. And if you prefer the old school analog option, well, you can purchase a dusty old scroll at goodstress.com and get a bunch of goodies thrown in, including $900 worth of courses with some of my biggest influences, including Mark Hyman, Zach Bush, and Gabor Mate. Of course, feel free to reach out to me directly with comments, questions, criticism of the constructive ilk at jeffk@onecommune.com. Okay, that's all from the Commune for today. My name's Jeff Krasno, and I'm here for you.